So just let me know if I need to switch over the microphone. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's good to see lots of old faces here, so a couple of new faces. I'm Brendan Tooney. I'm a Los Alamos County Recreation Manager. Been doing this for 12 years now, Friday night concerts with the vendors. I've seen a lot of changes and a lot of growth. The last couple of years didn't do us too good, did they? But tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to a couple key players tonight.
Here's your mic.
Microphone?
Yep.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to a couple different people tonight. I think we got a couple more that are coming, so we'll introduce them as they get here. But for the most part, Fire and PD aren't going to be here tonight. They're going to be big players in the summer, the Friday night concerts. So we'll be dealing with them a lot this summer. The other persons that you guys will be seeing this on Friday nights for the vending is going to be New Mexico Gas State Inspector. We'll have them come up and give you just a few words here in a minute. The biggest thing with those guys, the fire and the propane inspector, is you cannot vend until you've been inspected. So no sales or anything like that until you've been given approval to do so. The biggest thing with that is we're going to give you guys from 2 to 4 to get set up and everything. And at 4 o'clock, that's when fire and the propane inspector will be going around inspecting everybody. That's to give you enough time. If they find something wrong, you can get it fixed while they're still there, and then you can still pay for that evening. And that's mainly just for food. Got quite a bit to go through tonight, so we'll hold most of our questions to the end. For everybody online, if you have questions, I'll pass the microphone over to our Zoom person, and she can ask the question in your place. Other than that, State Inspector, you want to go ahead and come on up? We'll start with you.
My name is Robert Sloan. I'm an inspector with the New Mexico LP Bureau. We'll be up here doing the inspections on Friday nights for the summer concerts. The permit requires a $15 fee, and we'll be up here by 4 p.m. to get the inspections done every Friday. Any of you have any questions? I think I probably dealt with most of you already. I know I see some familiar faces out there, but if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them. Or if you'd like a copy of the rules for propane use at special events, I've got some with me. That's about all.
All right, and you guys will be seeing multiple faces for that every Friday, so it won't be the same inspector every Friday. So plan on a new face, going through the same routine, not knowing what the inspector did before. With fire, since they're not going to be here tonight, the big thing with them is we're going into fire restrictions. So for open flames, or everybody with open flames, there might be some pending issues with that. So if that's the case, go ahead and get with me later, and we'll go ahead and get that resolved before our first concert. Summer concert opportunities this summer. As you all saw, there were some flyers as you guys came in. For those of you online, we'll get that flyer posted for you. It just helps you get an idea of all the different vending opportunities you will have this summer and who to contact to make that happen. I was hoping some of them would be here tonight to talk about those. Unfortunately, we only got one. So, Monica, if you want to come up. Monica's with Songbird Productions, and they are doing the vending for the 4th of July this year. since she's here, we'll have her go right into the Friday night concerts as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Griego. I'm the Executive Director of United Way. Just a quick plug for an event that we're having on May 22nd, and a call out for food vendors. We are hosting our first ever Unite Spring Nonprofit Expo and Music Festival, and we're hosting it in the City of Espanola's Plaza. So there's food vending opportunities at that event. But I'm here tonight to talk about the Los Alamos Spring Concert Series. We are subcontractors for Los Alamos County, and we are contracted to produce a 15-week free summer concert series. It's family friendly and has a diverse genre of concerts. We are contractually obligated to host mega concerts that really draw at least a minimum of 5,000 to the pond. And so we've been elevating the series by first bringing nationally touring bands to the concert series, and second by acquiring sponsorships from local businesses. So we are the best summer concert series in the state, and we are powered entirely by New Mexico businesses. We're really proud of that. We couldn't put on the shows that we do and bring the caliber of artists to the pond that we do if we didn't have sponsor support. One of the ways we keep the costs down for the series is we have to provide an offer to the bands that are nationally touring. So if we advance an offer of money for the band to perform, we're contractually obligated, if they accept that offer, to go ahead with all the terms. Usually after we've contracted, we get a rider, and a rider signifies what lighting packages, speaker packages, what hotel amenities, what ground transportation requirements, what travel air ticket level of amenities we have to provide, and so it gets more expensive sometimes after we book the band. One of those things that we have to provide often is up to 12 meals for the performing artists, and sometimes up to twice a day. So we work really hard with our official hotel sponsor, with our advertising partners, and we try to keep the cost low for sponsors because we want them to return again and again. This year is probably the most expensive concert series year in history. I think the total amount that we're spending on nationally touring bands exceeds what's been spent on bands in all concert years previous, including our own in 2019 when we brought roughly 55,000 people over the series to the pond. So we rely on significant partnerships from business owners, and we're going to do our best to make sure we bring people from White Rock, from Los Alamos, from Bernalillo, Santa Fe, Taos. We hope to really have a significant impact on your sales. We hope to really boost the products and elevate what you guys sell, locally. And so what we have in front of you is an offer. We need some help with food for our performing artists. So when they come to the pond, we were really successful in partnerships last year with Senor Tortas and getting burritos. And if they were vegan burritos, if they were, all meat burritos or non-dairy burritos, those were things we couldn't negotiate before. We were able to give some shouts out on stage. This year, because these national touring bands are huge, an example of the lineup is June 24th, Sister Hazel. We estimate that could bring up to 10,000 people to Ashley Pond. We're asking for a little bit more help. It's a big band. We've got to provide 10 meals that day for not only the band members, but their wives that accompany. And they want the meals at the hotel, which is in White Rock, or they have to have it at their green room if they choose to do the green room at the BFW. So we're asking for help. Every penny that we spend on ground transportation comes out of our pocket of the contract award, and we keep the concert sponsorships low in that way. So we're asking for volunteers. If you can help out a concert night and provide food to the band, we're able to put you on our social media. We're able to provide a link to your business on our website. We're able to give you shouts out on stage from the artists. James Carruthers comes and he has an incredible plate of barbecue. I hope he shouts out the barbecue vendor and lets them know how delicious that is and encourages folks to go get it. They got to try the brisket. It's amazing. So what we did is just set up a contact If you've got contact information to share, if you've got beverages, if you've got snacks, if you've got desserts, if you've got meals for one concert or two or three, that significantly helps us, and then we're ready to advertise your business in a huge way and recognize that sponsorship in kind, so kind of an in-kind swap. So that's what I'm putting out today. If you're interested, you can email at the bottom info@soncreproductions.com, or there's a cell phone number. You can reach Pablo, who's the concert director and oversees all aspects of bands. Just putting it out there, anyone interested in supporting this year? Victor. All right. Thank you. Well, think about it. Please get in touch with us. Let us know what you can do. The form is there. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm happy to answer any other questions you guys might have about artists or the lineup this year or the setup. It's going to be our first year since COVID that we're not restricted in just hiring local bands because there were travel restrictions. There's risk of super spreader events, and so we're really bringing as much as nationally touring artists as we can, and we're really proud of the lineup we put together. We think we're doing Los Alamos proud. We hope to support you and work with you as a partner for your businesses as well. Thanks.
All right, so like I said, they're also in charge of the 4th of July vendors. So reach out to them if you want to be out there for the 4th of July.
It's not just food vendors either.
Yeah, not just food vendors, any kind of vending. Just like Friday night concert, the 4th of July is the same way. Any kind of vendor, the more the merrier.
Not Kiwanis anymore?
Kiwanis,
Fireworks.
they're contracted with Sangre.
Okay.
So Kiwanis reached out to Sangre, they made their contract. So Sangre is going to be taking care of vendors. So yeah, with those, I don't have any of the other vendor opportunity people here tonight, but they are on the list. We'll post that flyer, like I said, with how to contact them and everything like that. There's always going to be more vending opportunities. We're hoping there's more in the future. We don't have them all on there. We try to get the bigger ones on there for sure. So real quick, the next one we got is the mobile food ordinance. That's going to go to council at the end of next month. We have the flyer, paperwork and stuff, if you didn't grab it there on the table. The next public hearing is in a couple weeks, or a couple days, something like that. But that's basically for mobile, food trucks or anything like that in town on county property. Right now when you see food trucks, they're all on private property, with whatever agreement they made with the property owners. With this ordinance, we're hoping to make that available to where a food truck could potentially set up in the parking lot at Ashley Pond at lunchtime during the week. Be able to sell food at Ashley Pond. So different opportunities like that, ball fields, all kinds of different things like that. So that'll be a new thing for the county, and that hopefully catches up to the rest of the community, other counties and stuff like that with that opportunity. Friday night concerts. I think that's what most of you guys are here for tonight. Not a whole lot has changed with the setup or anything like that. The setup's going to look the same. You'll get the weekly maps from me or my staff, letting you know where you're going to set up, where your booth will be. All your tents, unless you're a food truck or a food cart, your tents will, they have to be 10 by 10. We can't exceed the 10 by 10 limit. I think that's really it for the setup. I don't think we've got any other changes. Fire, of course, we'll update you with that. The permitting process, now that's where a lot of changes have happened in the last couple of years. Fees have gone up, and there's going to be 2 different places that you're going to process paperwork. If you're a high-risk food vendor or sales of any kind, you're going to go to the municipal building, go to CDD, that's where you get your business licenses. They're actually going to take care of all your paperwork there. So you won't come to the aquatic center anymore. It'll just be a one-stop, get everything done in one stop. If you're non-sales, for the Friday night concert, you'll still come to the Aquatic Center. We'll still take care of you guys there. Nonprofit row, if you're looking at that, that's with Songcare Productions, and you'll reach out to Pablo for that. If for the concerts, we used to be able to process your paperwork in the same week to get you to the Friday night concert that week. That has changed. With the process now going with CDD, and we still have to send in our paperwork to fire every week. So if you want to be out, if you know you want to be out on a certain Friday, you need to get your paperwork in the week before. That way we have enough time to make sure we get everything processed for you to be out the following week. Non-sales, a little different because we can process you a little faster. But for everybody else with sales, high risk, or anything like that, we've got to have about a week lead time to get you guys out there. If you come in on Monday, you're really pushing it for that week. There's no guarantee we can get you out that Friday. So with that, I think we already talked about inspection times. You gotta be set up by 4 o'clock if you're selling food or doing anything with propane. Generators, everything's gotta be set up before 4 o'clock. That's when inspections happen. If you show up after 4 o'clock, inspectors are gone, we're not gonna be able to let you vend that night or set up your, you can still vend if you're not using their room. So that restricts you on time limits and stuff like that.
We're gonna have access to power.
We always have access to power. As always, it's very limited. Nothing's changed in that aspect. If you are given a spot with power, same thing. You gotta have carpets, gotta have some kind of cover for the cords that go across the sidewalk. That way they're not trip hazards. If you plug in and you have multiple items plugged into that outlet, and you pop the outlet, you have to start deciding what you're going to plug. We're not going to give you another outlet because those are very limited, and lots of people like them.
Do you know what the amperage in the plugs are?
Not offhand. I would like to say, probably 15.
So it'll pop at anything.
They're
Yeah,
strong
so-
enough to run my air compressor. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll pop at anything.
We've
So,
blown
yeah,
it multiple
I
times.
can find that out, and I can send that out to all you guys.
Yeah, it would be useful to know whether it's a 15 amp or 20 amp circuit.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Never had that question, so it's good to put in the books. Setup times, locations, nothing's changed there.
So food vendors have until 4 to set up. What about the other vendors? Do we have until 6 or 5 or what?
So other vendors, you have until 4 o'clock not for inspection. You have until 4 o'clock to be able to drive in and basically park where your tent is to unload. Anything after 4 o'clock, you'll have to park at the barriers and puff it in however close or far you are at that point. So you can still show up and set up later. It'll just be a walk for you to hike everything in. We'll make accommodations or try to be as flexible as possible for like Senior Tortas, Bob's, and Papa Murphy's. If you have to do, go get product to keep going through the evening, we'll make sure that we try to keep things clear and available for you guys to get as close as possible. Of course, that also depends on where you're set up at. So if that's something to take into consideration, we'll work with you on the maps to make sure that, you're closer to the drop-off zone, I guess you can say, than farther away. This year there's 3 of us now in rec. Me, Vera, that most of you will know, and we have a new staff member, Patrick. Between the 3 of us, one of us will be there Friday night. if not all of us, especially through the first couple concerts. CDD, like I said on the paperwork, it takes them an average of 3 to 5 days. That's where a lot of that extended time is coming from. We still have to turn our paperwork into fire every Wednesday at noon to give them enough time to see our maps. And our idea was the Friday night's going to look like. So if we don't have your stuff by that Wednesday morning, more than likely you're not going to make the cut for that Friday night.
So, and I'm sure I understand correctly, we have to register every week? Just something to do paperwork every week?
No. So for you guys that are doing the whole series, it'll be just like before. You go do your paperwork the one time, and then you'll hear from us every week when we send out the map. So with the map, again, there's no guarantee that you're going to be in the same place every Friday night. So when you get the map, make sure you take a look at the map to see where you're at. With vendors coming and going, we know you're not always going to be there. So we try to fluctuate, move people around to get other people in, to keep the vendors, keep most of you guys happy.
So I got an answer on the electric, if you wanted to know the
Yep.
information.
Go right ahead.
Each panel has a 30 amp 240 plug and two 20 amp 120V plugs with 5 panels total.
There you go.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it's 15 amp circuits. For the 110.
Do we have any questions online?
We have 2. BD Roybal asks if they have a flame within their smoker on their trailer, will with the fire restrictions in effect, will it affect them?
If it's inside the trailer, it probably won't.
Okay.
And that's something I can clarify with fire.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to be here tonight.
Right.
So.
How about sterno on a stainless table, surrounded by stainless?
Yeah, I wish I had the answer for that. But if you guys could, so I have comment cards on the back table. If you guys could write those down, hand those to me at the end of the meeting. That way I know what to follow up on and who to get back to in those answers. That'll help out. Will help us out both out. So real quick.
I had one more.
Oh, go ahead.
Carmen Medrano asks if there's an email process to apply for an event permit since their home base is in Taos. So if I'm correct, they can download the application off our internet and then email it in to CDD, correct?
Yes. The only hiccup there might be with that is payment. And I'm seeing no. So yeah, you should be able to do it all online then.
They will have to mail in payment or check with CDD on how to do it. Because CDD is set up a little bit differently than we were at the Aquatic Center.
Yeah.
So it's possible that there's a way for them to enter the information online, or their payment online, and it'll go through.
Yeah.
So we'll check with CDD.
Yeah, so if you beat us to the punch and you call CDD to get your paperwork started, go ahead and ask them that question, and they'll be able to tell you exactly how they can take payment if they can online or not. At this point, I don't think we're going to be pushed for limitations on spaces or space, but that could change by mid-concert toward the end of the season. So when that does happen, we'll expand as much as we can to accommodate everybody. But as with everything, there's no guarantee we can accommodate everybody. So at that point, it really is just kind of first come, first serve type thing. Series holders, or the ones that have paid for the series, will take precedence over everybody else. With space limitations, the only thing that I'm thinking about that has changed is with soft toys, bounce houses. Same thing. Everything is as normal. unless we get other vendors doing the same thing, space limitations, we'll have to start putting restrictions on size of toys, how many toys and stuff like that. And of course, concert size, because we're doing mega concerts again, so 5 of them. So yeah, so be prepared to move to the other side of the pond like we did in 2019. That'll be the only other change this year from last year. We just lost everybody else.
No, we didn't lose everybody. They just got a blank screen for a second. Okay, so we do have roller derby bouts happening down at our ice rink starting this summer. Brendan is the point of contact for those type of events. He is actually the manager of the ice rink as well, so he can give you all the information related to that hoopla that's happening down there. I don't know their dates, so I apologize, but he can provide you that. August 13th through 14th, we have our fair and rodeo. It's a Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is almost all day of goodies and fun downtown here in Los Alamos. There's a arts and crafts fair out here and on the lawn here. Ashley Pond usually has fun stuff happening in it. There's food trucks lining the streets, so we have a lot of space to be able to put people for that particular weekend. And then usually Sundays, I want to say there's some still activities happening downtown on Sundays, but most of the activities happening up at the stables. The stables is very far away from downtown, so having a food vendor out there would actually be very advantageous if anybody's interested in that as well.
And just to add to that one,
Yep.
so for the food vendor, they're there Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So you have the opportunity to be there both days for the rodeo.
That's either downtown or at the actual rodeo for the food festival.
Yeah, so that's still the case. You're either downtown Friday night and Saturday, or you're at the rodeo ground Saturday and Sunday.
Just have the,
And yeah, that's through me. So the food vendors through me. Arts and Crafts Fair will be through the Arts Council.
just add that we'll be here for the rodeo too. We'll be here early Saturday morning,
Yep.
doing inspections for that.
We also have farmers markets. Those almost happen pretty much year round, but they're transitioning to their summer seasons, which will be Thursdays and Saturdays. Those point of contacts is Cindy Telemontes and Laura McDaniels. Their information's on these flyers as well. The farmers markets are running May through October this year from 7 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And then Saturdays from 8 to 12, June through September. We also have Science Fest. That's a week-long event, but our big day is Discovery Day. Lauren McDaniel is also the point of contact for that event. And it's kind of sort of similar to almost Fair and Rodeo, where we have stuff happening all over downtown, various activities and events, still food trucks, various different type of vendors with gadgets and toys and who knows what else. She's also the point of contact, Lauren McDaniels, for that. And actually, I think if you want to register for Science Fest, they will be opening their registration for Discovery Day later this week. So just keep an eye out on Los Alamos Main Street, I think, .org website for that information. 4th of July is a Monday this year, so plan ahead. We're not holding it on an actual weekend, we're actually holding it on the 4th of July. Monica and Pablo Wildman are in charge of vendors for that particular event. So if anybody's, again, interested in that is actually held down in White Rock at our Spirio Field, which is a massive 3-size soccer field-ish looking thing.
It's 3 sides.
Yep. And there's live music, there's games, people bring tents, they hang out all day, they bring games. It's actually kind of fun. We also have, I don't want to get that far into it. Swim meets are being held at our aquatic center. I think that space is a little bit more limited, Brendan, for that. But
Yeah, there is
Brendan's
some
the point of
changes.
contact for that, and he has all the dates. Also through the Creative District, which is also Los Alamos Main Street, we have Tuesday nights at the Pond, starting in June, I think. Lauren, don't kill me later. I'm sorry. Okay, May 31st is their first Tuesday night at the Ponds. That's another music night event. Kind of starts up about 5:30. Headliners come on about 6. It's a smaller event to our summer concert series, but it's put on by a different vendor. But it's still a nice thing to be able to come out in the weekdays and have a nice little music relaxation time. Summer concert series we covered, arts and crafts fair. Okay, so once we get past our summer activities, and there may be a few here in between that are smaller, but those are our major ones. Our next one is Trick or Treat on Main Street. Oh wait, I skipped Chamberfest. Chamberfest is June 4th. Sorry, just back up a little bit. And registration is open for that on losalmosmainstreet.com. Lauren is also, Rin Herman at losalmos.org is the point of contact for that. Also, a midday activity where there's a lot of stuff happening downtown and at Ashley Pond. Okay, so
they also do the Kite Festival, which is middle of May.
right, but I don't have any details on that one.
No,
Sorry.
that's not on the list. Sorry.
It's not on the list,
But
so I don't have any
that's
details.
right.
Sorry. Moving past summer, starting in fall, we do have our Trick or Treat on Main Street event. That is a huge event where everybody comes downtown, and even up to the medical center sometimes. Kids and adults dressed in costumes, and we have a little parade. And there used to be a dog parade, which is kind of fun. Lots of candy, lots of food, sometimes some vendors. It's just something that we're trying to build up. It's a lot of fun, actually, to come out and see everybody in their costumes and hanging out. It's awesome. And then in December, Los Alamos Main Street puts on a Winterfest holiday lights parade. It's our second parade of the year. Also a fun time to have vendors and even food vendors participate in the parade. That's kind of fun. And we kind of hang out and listen to music. And there's a judging contest for the parade, and that one's kind of fun. The one thing that is not on this list, and I blame myself for it, Brendan, is this year we have a Los Alamos Winter Classic down at the ice rink. It is going to be 3 days of hockey games that will conclude with the New Mexico Ice Bulls from Albuquerque hockey game. So if anybody's interested in providing vending during that event, that is something to mark on your calendar as well. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
I think I covered everything.
I think
Any
we got
questions?
the majority. Yeah, there are some other smaller events that will take place. If you guys have any questions about any of them, go ahead and use me as your point of contact for everything in the county. I can get you the answers, or get you to the people that are actually doing it to make it happen. So if you can't figure it out, just give me a call. We'll get it figured out for you. Any other questions?
So are you the guy that would respond to LAC, REC, and LACN, US? Is that,
If it's vendor related, yeah, they'll send it to me and I'll
Okay.
respond to you, yeah.
okay.
I don't know if you would know this, but is anybody here doing face painting this year?
Not in this room.
But
No.
someone, have you heard?
No,
something about
No,
them?
I haven't heard anything. The face painters that I know of, I don't see in the room tonight, so they could be online, so.
I do airbrush tattoos.
So, yeah, no face painting, but tattoos, yes. Are there any accommodations that you guys can think of other than like joint tents? Anything else you can think of?
What's the deal with joint tents?
So we have space limitations that fire has set in place. So we have to have a certain gap between tents, between spaces, and the gap. It depends on what you're doing inside your tent for what the gap needs to be for the tent next to you. So for food vendors with flame and stuff like that, the gap has to be farther apart. And your tents have to be fire-approved. So that'll be something else that, if you have an open flame or anything like that, that fire will be looking for that tag on your tent. It's gotta be on the tent.
So
The
you're
risk
saying,
is if you have a whole row, and the whole row could go up, if you have an air gap in between, you can only lose one.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at, just a fire break between tents. That way, not everybody loses their tent. They're a little easier to control if it's, there's a gap. They can get that a little quicker than a whole mess.
but outside of food, you could have face painting and henna together.
We could. That'll be something that we have to talk to fire about. When we do our maps, our weekly maps, we can talk to them about that. So if that's something you want to do, get with me after this, and we'll start that process with fire now, before the first concert. Anybody else? All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate everybody coming out tonight, the ones that couldn't be here, joining online. If you guys have any other questions that you didn't want to speak up with online, the cards are on the back table, fill them out, hand them in to me, and I'll get you those answers later on in the week. All right, other than that, we're done, you guys. Thank you, guys.